Hey, it's Doris with All the Books, and I'm here with another week's reading. And I was going for 7 again this week for the 4th week in a row, and I finished 3.5, which is pretty solid, I think. And also, I'm not quite halfway through 4 others, so a lot of reading progress, I think, last week. So the first one I finished was for POC-a-thon, and that was A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier by Ishmael Bea. This was fabulous, great read. This centers around Ishmael's losing his family due to civil war in Sierra Leone, and himself being kind of coerced into the army, the Sierra Leone army. And yeah, it's very brutal and graphic, as you can imagine, and it actually reminded me a lot of this book that I read last year, Beasts of No Nation by Uzodinma Iweala. This one is fictional, whereas this one is a nonfiction account. But the thing that really set this one apart from Beasts of No Nation is that this one didn't stop with the boy getting out of the military. Actually, I think this one also was the boy joined the rebel forces in this one, whereas he joined the National Army in this one, I think. But anyway, this one didn't stop with him getting out of the army. This one continued through his rehabilitation and learning to live a normal life again. So that part was just really profound, to realize that, you know, how much brainwashing goes on and how hard it is to distance yourself from the violence that you've been exposed to and the violence that you've participated in, and forgive yourself for that even. Yeah, so this was great. I mean, like I said, it's really brutal and graphic, but I think a lot of teenagers need to read this and just, you know, I mean, I think kids need to know what life is like for others. We all need to know that. The next one I finished was also for POC-a-thon, and that was Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress by Dai CG. I found this just utterly charming. It's a tiny little book, and it just starts out being a great story. It's a great narrative read. I was just immersed from the beginning. And it centers around 2 teenage boys who have been forced out into the countryside for the re-education during that Cultural Revolution in China. And yeah, their parents were elitist thinkers. So one was a prominent dentist, and the other one, his parents were both doctors. So yeah, forced into the countryside for re-education, and it was just, it really centered around their shenanigans. And it was just very refreshing to know that even though it was such a hard time in history and a somewhat difficult, harsh environment in many ways, should I say this, but boys will be boys. I mean, that's probably not a PC term, but that's just how it read. It was fun. And not everything that they did was, you know, what they should have been doing. But it was just very, very engrossing narrative and enjoyable read. And then the ending came very abruptly, and I wasn't sure how I felt about how it ended. but a day out, you know, it kind of all clicked and fell into place for me mentally, and it felt like it had kind of, after this book being centered around these two teenage boys up to no good and mischief and whatnot and living their lives, it kind of had a little feminist edge at the end, which I wound up appreciating. So yeah, really enjoyed that read as well. And then I finished Air Above the Ground, which was our Mary Stuart buddy read for this month. This one centers around a circus and the Lipizzan stallions and their training school. And, you know, obviously there's a mystery. And yeah, this one was just a really fun setting. And the characters, the two main characters were a newly married woman. She's, you know, mid-20s, and a teenage boy who, I think he's 17, and kind of in that in-between stage where he's finishing up secondary school and looking to his future. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed reading this one. And then I DNF'd another book. Yes, I did. I think that this one and the one that I DNF'd last week, if I had been reading at my normal pace, I probably would plow through and make myself finish these. But since I have been reading in such volume this month, purposefully, it's kind of made me realize that there's so many books to read and that I want to read that I don't have to finish them if I'm not enjoying them. And so, yeah. A Horse Walks into a Bar by David Grossman, the Man Booker International winner from 2017. Yeah, so this one is a Jewish comedian in an Israeli town. This part of it is just his stand-up comedy routine over the course of an evening, and the other part is someone from his past that he's known and has talked into coming to this comedy night, and I think he wants to expose a truth vocally in front of, you know, in a public way. And I've no doubt that this will say something profound at the end, because the author, is it the author or the comedian? There's a Holocaust survivor, the mother of somebody. I can't remember if it's the character or the author himself, but anyway, I think it's going to have a profound ending. Right now, it's a comedy routine. It's extremely crass and not nice in any way, and that's fine. But it's just I'm not enjoying it at all, and I just don't feel like finishing it. Now, Run Right Reads is reading it right now too, so I will be curious to hear what she has to say about it. And you know, if she says something profound about it, I may be tempted to finish, but right now I'm just not. And I also, in January, if you recall, if you've been around since then, I read from the Jewish and the Palestinian perspective almost exclusively in January, and read a lot of books. So I feel like I'm okay with, you know, my exposure this year to these issues. So I'm just okay with not liking this book and not finishing it. So yeah, if I do end up reading it, I'll let you know. But right now I'm thinking I'm not going to finish. So the ones that I have been working on, this is the in progress portion of this video, and I'll try to hurry up so it's not too long. I'm reading John Steinbeck's East of Eden. This book is brilliant thus far. I don't believe I've ever said this. To Kill a Mockingbird is my gold standard. That is it for me as far as literary brilliance goes. I love that book. This is approaching that status. It could achieve that status. I'm floored. So yes, I'm starting part 3 today, and I'm reading this with Jacqueline from 6 Minutes for Me, and she's raving about it too. So hoping to finish that one this week. That is the plan. I've also been reading The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. This is kind of a futuristic sci-fi fantasy read. N.K. Jemisin just won the Hugo Award for the 3rd time in a row with this trilogy, so I am just totally stoked for her. That is amazing and awesome. Yeah, still enjoying this. Stay tuned. I also started The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho yesterday. This is a tiny little book, and I started this in an attempt to finish one more, and that didn't happen. But yeah, so far it's very simplistic, and I'm assuming allegorical. And it's a little slow paced. It's not really immersing me yet, but there's still potential. However, it's a really short book, like 180 pages or 70, something like that. And a lot of little like illustrations and such, space on the page. So there's not a lot of room for it to be slow, you know. It needs to start something soon. Otherwise, we're going to be done before anything's begun. And then I also started There by Tommy Orange yesterday in an attempt to finish something else, and didn't finish this either. But I knew from the prologue and the first chapter that this was an excellent read. This is very much deserving of all of the hype. So excellent. And like I said, I'm not done, so stay tuned. But thus far, I am wowed. I'm almost halfway through at this point, and I'm listening to it on Audible, and that is excellent as well. So yes, 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 yes. Okay, and then I'm starting this week my next nonfiction buddy read with Heidi, and that is The Inconvenient Indian by Thomas King. Been looking forward to this one, and I think it's just going to pair so well with those. That was unplanned, but just very serendipitous. And then if you watched my kitty video, I will be starting The Bees this week by Laline Paul. Yes. Gorgeous cover. So yeah, that's what I've got this week, and I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye!